Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be sharing with you 10 tips on how to improve your fighting in Fortnite. Make sure to like and subscribe if this video helped. Let's get into it. So tip number 1 for this video is always keeping active within fights. What I mean by this is not playing slow from the initial stages of the fight. Reason being as you can let your opponent heal, and 2, you won't be able to deal that much damage to give you the starting advantage in a fight. An example of this would be you boxing up and letting your opponent pressure you from all directions without you doing anything back. So instead of this, what you want to do is you want to act more aggressive and more confident towards your opponent and pressure them from multiple angles so it's harder for your opponent to track you. So tip number 2 is being patient. Being patient may sound like a stupid and dumb idea, but realistically, you want to wait for your opponent to make a mistake so then you can attack them and get that counter damage before a fight. The way a fight usually ends is either you or your opponent makes a mistake. An example of a mistake could be you or the opponent double pickaxing the wall, leading to them editing and getting a high pump on you, leading to the kill. This moves directly onto my next point, which is tip number 3. So for tip number 3 is VOD reviewing. VOD reviewing is basically going into a replay of a match to the point where you have died to analyze your mistakes and see where you went wrong. This can and will help you improve so you don't die in a similar situation. So tip number 4 is finishing fights quickly. This is a really useful skill to have when fighting, as you are able to avoid third parties. Another benefit of being able to finish fights quickly is you taking less damage, so therefore if a third party arrives, you can also fight them whilst having decently high HP. Tip number 5 is always being aggressive when you're playing on defense. For example, if you get cracked for all your shield and your opponent has max health, the one thing you can do is when they're spraying your wall is try to hit a pre-fire so you can get that counter damage and make them fall back a bit. This also gives you time to allow to heal so then you can get back to full HP and act aggressive again. It also slows down the pressure that your opponent has. Tip number 6 is warming up before going into games or comp. Some things you could do to warm up is using third-party aim softwares such as Aim Labs and Kovacs. There is also a good map that I recommend in Fortnite, which is Clix's Aim Trainer. You also want to warm up your mechanics, which is building, editing and piece control. A good map I recommend to do all of this in is Raider 464's Mechanics Training map. You also want to play against other people in different maps such as realistics, box fights or turtle fights. This can also help you warm up your mechanics so you can know how to put them to work in game. Moving on to the next tip, which is tip number 7, is that you need to understand that Fortnite is a learning curve. What I mean by this is that if you think that you can become a better player just by practicing your mechanics and aim every day for a few weeks, you're going to become the next professional player earning loads of money. Some pro players, such as Peterbot and Clix, have been playing the game for a while and therefore have years and years of experience. This can mean that they fight at a higher level and win more fights competitively, for example in FNCS and Cash Cups. And another benefit of having years and years of experience is that they are less nervous when going into fights as they are more confident. Being nervous within a fight can impact your gameplay negatively. The way it can impact you is that you are far more likely to panic, therefore causing you to make a wrong move and dying early. It can also lead to you being unable to use the mechanics you have been practicing, and also missing your shots. Like I mentioned before, pro players are less likely to make these crucial mistakes. The way you can counter this is by you forcing yourself to take more fights in situations with high pressure. This can lead to you gaining a confidence boost and therefore becoming a better fighter. As I mentioned before, in the learning curve, it takes weeks and weeks of practice for you to improve. Tip number 8 is giving yourself some time to relax and chill out from the game. A moment or an example of when you should do this is when you've been consistently dying in ranked, leading to you raging. Raging can impact you negatively as it can put you in a mindset of where you don't even want to try or the game is just pointless. So instead, what you want to do is you want to take a break, for example, do some exercise or read a book or watch some TikTok. This gives you a moment to relax and take your mind off the game. When you're nice and relaxed, you can come back and be in a good mindset to carry on and play. So the next tip, which is tip number 9, is playing against better people. This also links to the fact of you warming up. You 1v1ing or playing against people that are worse than you will slow the rate that you improve at. However, if you play against people that are better than you, you are more likely to learn from their gameplay and find the errors, which will be punished by professional players in the real game. And also, people that are better than you can help you teach how to peek and how to edit effectively. An example of a good and effective peek is the peanut butter peek, or also known as the corner edit peek, which will be displayed in the following video. Peeks are a nice way to get useful tags on opponents whilst being protective with cover. This can also help you win fights faster, as you can hit your opponents without them expecting it. And the last and final tip, which is tip number 10, is the 10-second rule. The 10-second rule is basically, if you land at the same place with an opponent, you need to chase them for 10 seconds, and if you can't get a kill on them, or if you can't get any tags on them within 10 seconds, leave them. This is crucial for helping you not dying off spawn, and in some cases, maybe even helping you win the fight against your opponent. If the video and tips have helped you, make sure to drop a comment and like, and also subscribe, as I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching.